Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with all the resources you need to become a successful author. You can learn more about Authors Unite and join the free community at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner, and today I have Rebecca Styn with us. She's the proprietor of Room 33 Speakeasy. So welcome to the show, Rebecca.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for joining us, and we'll dive right in. So the first question that I have for you is, what's the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Oh, there are so many, but I really think, I was taught at a young age from my parents that I could be anything that I wanted to and that I don't need to be like everyone else. As a teenager and even as adults, we naturally want to feel that we belong, but there's so much beauty in not being like everyone else. I actually look for those that like to buck the system, the misfits in this world, the ones that don't really fit in. They're the ones that actually get stuff done. And they will almost always have a more difficult time, like I did, figuring that out. But to those that don't feel they are part of anything, I just tell them to hold tight to that. It will reward you in so many great ways as you get older. It has for me.
And what's the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
So I think this is applicable to any industry, but the key is listening to yourself. As a business owner, I get flooded with advice from individuals everywhere. You need to be able to filter that advice and trust your instincts. I found that 99% of the time when I do, I come out on top and stay above the fray. Every single day will be riddled with issues. Don't let them bring you down, because once you do, it's so difficult to climb back out, especially mentally speaking. Things are going to go wrong. Just take it in stride, address it, and be done.
And it might tie in, but what's your best piece of overall business advice, not necessarily industry specific?
Teach by example. I mean, in my industry, get your hands dirty. Bus tables, sweep floors, wash glasses, clean bathrooms. Although that last one I still have a really hard time with. If you never step foot behind the line or behind a bar, you kind of disengage from the realities of your team, and leaders are always part of a team. Without mine, I would not have a successful business.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Always try and be okay to fail. Failing is one of the best things that can happen to you. It gives you experience, it teaches you humility and empathy, and it provides you with lessons that success could never give you. Today, I welcome failure as part of my path. I still feel that emotional pinch when it happens, but I trust that it will only lead to greater things.
And in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
Taking care of yourself. Stay in the moment, find beauty in the things that don't cost anything or little at all. Happiness doesn't come from success, financial or business. It is found in the people that you love and love you, and in the day-to-day things that surround you. It's not always easy to keep that in perspective for me, but life is so much easier to take in when you recognize that there is always some semblance of good to be found. And
I agree with that so much. Thanks for sharing that. And what's the best book you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
So it's interesting. Currently, I'm working on my PhD in leadership, so I really don't have much time for outside reading. And my reading mainly consists of leadership theorists. But there is one I'm drawn to in particular. His name is Warren Bennis. He's written a number of books, but his leadership approach is really persuasive. And he provides a lot of applicable insights in his books that you wouldn't necessarily just see in theory.
And what's your favorite quote and why?
So my favorite quote is "The Man in the Arena" by Teddy Roosevelt. It's a long quote, so I don't know if you really want me to say it all. But essentially, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. His quote embodies everything I strive for in life: to reach high, to do more, to talk less, and in the process help others along the way.
Thank you so much for coming on, Rebecca. The last question I have for you before we let you go is, where's the best place for people to find you online?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, probably Facebook. My business is Room 33 Speakeasy, and and I'm out there as well.
Perfect. Thank you again, Rebecca. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Tyler.
The
podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.